Hey everyone, welcome back to Painted Studio. I'm Maury Curtis Dunbar, your host of the messiest studio on the internet. Doesn't matter how much I clean up because 5 minutes later I've made a bigger mess. Welcome back. Earlier you saw me doing some foiling projects. Well, we're going to switch gears. Hey Terry, nice to see you. We're going to switch gears. You all saw me do the tabletop paper cut to fit my table over there. Well, I need to sit down and take the time to actually cut the rest of the paper for what I'm planning to do. And since I need to be doing that, I thought I'd show you all the process that I do to get these cuttings. Now, normally what I'm doing is I'm sort of building mural works, because when I do this correctly, these hand painted or hand created papers on soft pulpy paper end up looking like tile by the time I'm done. So if I've got a big mural planned out, and I have done like bigger murals doing this, I sketch out the mural and then I know exactly where I need to put things, and I have all of my stuff pre-cut it for that day. So now I have to design basically what I would call scales, because I want to do sort of a snaky pattern in paper on that particular table. So here, if you remember, I did a mermaid table a while back and I cut all these circles. Well, now I have to cut triangles. The circles are easy and hard at the same time. The circles, I can draw them out. Just all I need is something round to sketch them out. Triangles I have to measure, but the circles are way slower to cut. The triangles are faster because I'm doing it all with a ruler. So let's get into it. Let's see. You can see I've got paper and I've got a cutting board. This is actually what brought me into Joann Fabrics the other day, and that's how I got caught up with all the little cutouts that we worked on. So I collect papers. This is one that I got from Paper Source. You can see it's a pink background and then it's printed with a pink metallic. So that'll work well for this. And I'm going to turn this the easiest way to cut. So I'm going to set my board here. I'm going to angle this a little better. Hey Joy, nice to see you. So I'm going to try to angle this all so you can see me well, but I want a smaller ruler besides the one big one I have. So I just want to make sure I have a couple. Now, give yourself a break. Get some metal rulers. Do yourself the favor. On this board in particular, we happen to be marked at 1-inch squares. If you don't have that, you're going to have to go, and I have done this, you're going to have to go up the side of both sides of your paper and mark them evenly. Why? Because if you don't and your paper's not sitting straight, you're going to have crooked lines. I'm fortunate here. I've got a nice square piece of paper, so I can mark things off as I want to. I'm setting it, balancing it in here so that I can do some marking. I just want to get it square so that when I start drawing lines, I know they're straight on the paper and I won't have a crazy result. Okay, so I'm going to make my little scales about 2 inches long. That's a standard size for me. I have these all figured out in my head from years because I used to do a lot more of this than I've done recently. So I'm going to draw some lines that get me 2 inches. And I don't need a lot because I have a lot of papers that I'm going to have to eventually cut like this, but I'm going to show you how I come up with this. Right. Now, normally, I would be able to take my ruler and do this, but because I don't have any way to see my guidelines, what I'm going to do is I have every inch here marked off on the bottom. I know this is not making any sense to anybody, but it will as soon as you see what I'm doing. Okay, now I've got to make sure I mark off all the inches at the top. Now I'm going to tell you, I've done this on huge sheets of paper and I'm just showing you this on smalls. I've done sculptures doing this. I actually had a piece that was a co-op piece. I had a partner that I used to do some sculpture pieces with, and we went under the name Sumo, and we'd take half of a project and each interpreted our own way and presented at shows. We had a lot of fun, some very cool work. It's the same artist I'm doing some work with now. I haven't shown you any of that because it's her plan, so I need to make sure that before I show anything, I'm not breaking my agreements with her. Okay, so I've got all of this marked off. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go on diagonals. So I need to create triangles, and doing this will give me lots of them. First thing I need to do, well, I'm not going to do that because that might screw me up in the end. I'm going to take one corner, one point of my ruler and put it on the corner, and then I am going to skip one dot and draw on an angle. Now this, I have to try this one. Let me see if I'm right on this or if this is going to do the wrong thing. I think, yeah, this is what I needed to do. I knew I was not getting that quite right. I've got something off here and I'm not sure what I've done, so, but I do this all the time. This happens like more regularly than you know. But I'm okay, I'll figure it out. If I make them too small, I'll work it out. I've just got a little mental block in my head about how I'm doing this, and I know I'll get it once I turn the ruler the other way after I've marked all these off. I've done this a million times, but it's always a challenge for me to describe how I got to there. Okay, now let's see if I can remember how I did this. That will be the challenge. Okay, so let me do my start and I'll get it. I'll get there. There we go. I'm getting what I need. I knew I did something wrong there. My angles were off, and that's okay. We're gonna try it the other way. That was totally my mistake, and I just realized I screwed up when I did it. So, poop happens. Oh no, I've got to figure this out again. I could do this and show you on another piece, but that would be really annoying. All right. Let's get this here. And it doesn't matter if I get dirt on the back of this or a mismark or anything, because again, it's on the back, so nobody's going to see it once it's adhered to the table. There we go, and then we got this one. All right, that should straighten that out. Now I think I've got it done correctly. Sorry about that, oh, this ruler's so big and awkward. Give me back my small one. Looking at it, wasn't looking right when I was doing it, but I couldn't figure out what it was until I started crossing over the other way. And while you're here watching me draw lines, we're going to go over our stencil mystery boxes. If you watched the live earlier today or yesterday, you heard me announce that we are going to be doing mystery boxes of stencils. They are $35. That includes shipping. You can send me a message here, send me a message through Painted Studio, or send me a message on my personal page, or heck, just email me that you'd like one and we'll get it together, and I will charge you for it and we'll send it out right away. Now the stencils, you will receive a minimum of 6, and I do mean bare minimum. The least expensive stencil in there is probably $10. If you're getting 6 and paying $35, you've already made your money back. Many of the stencils are $70, $80, or $90. There are big stencils, there are small stencils. There are geometric stencils, there are organic stencils. There are medallion stencils and border stencils and all kinds of stuff. So if you are a stencil junkie, which, you know, I own up to being, this is definitely a deal for you. So I would run and grab it as fast as I can if I was you. Let's get our corners in here. There we go. I knew something was wrong there. I'm going to start sending them out tomorrow. I already have some requests for them for people whose information I have on file, but I'm not putting this up on our website for sale. This is special just for the people who watch our lives and who are following us on Facebook. I'm not making this an e-blast. I'm not putting it in posts all over Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else. This is for you guys who are followers here to watch our lives. You're going to get a heck of a deal if you want some stencils. All right. So you can see how I'm cutting. Now I've got these diamonds marked. You're going to see how all of that works. Now, so you can see I've got all these triangles coming out, and that's going to make scales. It's going to make a heck of a great decoupage pattern. So let me finish measuring these out, and then I'm going to cut some, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've been talking about with scale patterns. Now I have I'm not going to make you watch it. I have like 5 different other sheets of paper over here. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use. Now, the cool thing with doing some of this, and I had some of these pre-cut in a container for years. When I cut these, they get put away. If I don't use them all for a project, I don't throw them out. That's a lot of work that I'd be throwing out. I put it in a container, and eventually another project comes along that I need them for. The last container I had, unfortunately, got hit in flooding. So I have no old triangles backed up and ready to go already. I just have the paper, and I have the circles that are left over from doing the mermaid table. All right, so I've marked all this. You can see here, I've got all of my triangles worked out. Hey, Melissa, greetings to you in Fresno. Nice to see you here. And Lisa, hi, how are you? All right, so let's take my blade. Now, I'm going to tell you, I probably will cut this in a way that makes everybody nervous. I always do. I have put myself in so many awkward situations, but this is, because I'm left-handed, sometimes cutting the way everybody else does not work for me. I used to follow my teacher's instructions, and I used to have to make models and stuff. My college career was environmental design, which was right under the architecture school. So yeah, I learned all about plumbing and electrical and all that fun stuff. But the other thing is we had to make architectural models and stuff like that for our critiques. And oh my God, I'm impressed that my palms aren't completely scarred. I did one model that had an exterior, that was a building outside, and we had to, add trees and all that kind of stuff to it. And, I was a broke college student. And some of my friends, they had all kinds of money to get all the supplies they needed. I had to pull things out of my butt. And one of the things that I pulled out of my butt, so I made trees out of lollipop sticks and sea sponge or loofah. And I'd hold the loofah in my hand and chop it up with an X-Acto knife. And I finished that project. I had all these it looked like I was trying to die from a million cuts from just doing that. It was bad. So X-Acto knives and I have a long history of destructive behavior. So the next thing I'm going to do is then I'm going to cut all of these in just one direction. Let's make sure I'm lining up my lines. That didn't cut all the way through. Let me see if I can get that lined up nice and neat. And, if my cuts get a little bit uneven, I'm okay with that because, again, we're talking hand painted. Now, I will also tell you, again, this is the kind of stuff I love. It's very hard to do it on a live because it requires me to talk through it. But honestly, when I'm doing this in the studio for bigger projects and not on a live, I can sit here and do this for hours. I find it incredibly meditative to just kind of keep cutting straight lines. I don't always get through. Let's see what I didn't. Because if I don't put enough pressure on, I'm so much lighter handed with the X-Acto knives than I used to be in college. My teachers, my art teachers, my design teachers, they all said, cut lightly, go a couple strokes, get a nice smooth cut. and it doesn't hurt to do it. Okay, sounds great. But that's not how my brain works. So in college, everything was like that. And see how I just screwed up that piece? Fortunately, it's only one. I didn't even cut all the way through the whole thing. I would drag the knife through things so hard. I've done so much damage to myself. I actually one day took my X-Acto knife because somebody called my name. I turned my head and I sliced right through my fingernail and everything. Don't worry, I was barely touching my skin. I know I just skeeved somebody out in a big way. I think if I had worn acrylic nails at that time, I would have been in better shape. The knife couldn't have gotten through my nail. So, and I know most people love Mod Podge for decoupage. I know Mod Podge makes a waterproof product and stuff that's dishwasher safe. That is not my go-to. My go-to personally is Set Coat Clear. I find it bonds better, penetrates better, dries harder, and then I can top coat over it with a much better top coat, much harder wearing top coat than Mod Podge is. Mod Podge is great, and don't get me wrong, up until about 6 months ago when I finally used it all up, I had Mod Podge in the studio. It's just not my go-to product because I have products that I think are better for the job. Let's get this cut. And who knows, I might be live again. I'm going to be working late in the studio tonight, so you might, those of you who are night owls might even catch me up even later tonight. Because I got stuff I got to get done today so I can work tomorrow. You know how it is, I'm sure. You think you got your schedule all set and organized, and then all of a sudden, bam, something else happens. It's a wonder I get anything completed. Okay, so now I have all of those rhombus shapes. So there are ways to do this. You can cut this in half first, and it's really whatever for me, it's whatever shape, direction these show up on in front of me. I don't care which direction I cut first. It makes no difference to me. And you can do, as soon as I show you what I'm going to do, I'll cut a few of these and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. You can use this kind of technique with a hole, the big craft store hole punches where they have shapes. You can do that with this kind of paper. You can cut circles. You can trace on it a stenciled shape, cut it out and decoupage it. I haven't decided. I might be doing that. I have some ideas that may be part of this design. I haven't gotten there yet. I also finally ordered some new X-Acto knives too. I keep losing them. I have X-Acto knives all over the studio, and every time I turn around, they're just disappearing. So I had to order some more of those. Yippee! You know what's going to happen as soon as the new ones arrive? All the old missing ones are going to show up. So I do. Need to cut a few more so I can demo to you what this is going to end up looking like so it makes sense, because right now I know to you it all just looks like I'm cutting a bunch of triangles and not much else. Now, I'm going to tell you something, folks. I've been doing this technique for 25 years. I have not taught it before. Why? Because when I was doing it, I was the only one doing it, and it was a good money maker for me. But now, times are changed. I am not doing these things on walls anymore, and it's time for me to share. I have done this, walls, sculptures. I was supposed to do it on a ceiling, but that job got canceled, thank goodness, because that would have been incredibly painful. Ceilings are hard. Okay, so I got a bunch of these cut. And I could show it to you on the mat, but it will not have the impact of me showing it to you on another piece of paper. Okay, so this is one of the pieces of papers that I'm considering cutting some diamonds out of. Now I have my bowl of squares, a bowl of circles, and I have some diamonds. Now what I normally do is I'll start with an idea of a pattern. So I'm creating snake, and then maybe I'll put a couple circles. And then another diamond, and then maybe one of these circles, and a couple more. And if you notice, I'm trying really hard to be a little random with it. It's not easy because people naturally want to repeat pattern. What product are you using that is better than Mod Podge? I just joined, so I missed it. That is Belinda asking. Set Coat Clear. Set Coat by Faux Effects is a high bonding paint, and their clear is just as high bonding. And it's wonderful for Mod Podge, wonderful for decoupage, better to me, in my opinion, than Mod Podge. It dries down super hard and dries to a very paintable surface. So now that you see what I'm doing, let me zoom in and see if that makes a little more sense to you. So what I might be doing around the table is creating some sort of snaky pattern, and it will be adhered. Now I'm just doing this loose and freehand first. And I'm kind of working the ideas out in my head. So there are going to be more colors that I create in these diamonds than just the pink, but the circles I probably won't cut anymore because those took me for so long. That was painful. So I just want to take a minute and share the next step in the process. Probably we're going to come back tomorrow. Zoom out again. Sorry about that. Zoom out again. And tomorrow I'll be doing the adhering of this on the tabletop, probably during the afternoon. So you'll see what's going on with that. But tonight, I'm gonna be here late cutting a lot of this paper so we can get this done. Oops, I dropped some. I just cut this, I'm not letting it hit the floor. All right, everybody, have a great night. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, it's because I'm looking down, not looking up, but I go back and answer the questions. If I don't do it late tonight, because it's going to be a late night for me, I will do it tomorrow. It's already 7 o'clock. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks for popping in with me. If I come in again late tonight, it will be for something not too complicated. I might go and finish up the rest of that foiling from earlier today. All right, everybody, have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.